Me reconnect. Live. One. There's no one there can test whether I'm live here or not. No.
I can test.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, folks. I'm just testing here. We're just having a wee bit. I should have. I didn't have the girls ready to check. Am I in screen there?
Yeah, you're gonna be in the middle.
Yeah, there in the middle. Yeah. Happy with that. Okay, folks. Can you just check the sound? Hey, everyone. Just checking sound and YouTube. Yeah, good. Okay, folks. Today is the 10th of April 2025, and we have just returned from the CCJ in Dublin. And James Flynn has been returned for retrial for crimes he had been totally acquitted of. I'm sorry for rushing. I just have to grab the extradition warrant. Now we have covered the extradition warrant before. We've gone through it and we have put it up on screen. And the extradition warrant, there was 2 charges. And I suppose the second charge is vitally important to understand here. Offence number 2, robbery contrary to section 14 of the Criminal Justice Theft and Fraud Act, that the requested person, James Flynn, did on the 25th of January 2013 at Lordship Credit Union, Below, County Louth, robbed Pat Bellew of approximately $7,000 in cash and assorted cheques. And very, very important to remind the public once again, the Director of Public Prosecutions did not direct that the requested person, James Flynn, be charged with the capital murder of Detective Guard Adrian Donoghue. So we've covered this before, that all the top brass and the Garda Commissioners, Assistant Garda Commissioners, told you, the Irish public, that they were going to charge everyone with the murder of Detective Guard Adrian Donoghue. They told you nothing, only a tissue of lies. So it's very important. This is not the charge James has been retried over. James has been fully acquitted of any involvement in the murder and robbery at Lordship Credit Union on 25th of January 2013. As we know, because CCTV footage was found of James Flynn driving around the square in Crossmaglen at the time of the murder and robbery in Lordship. So that clears that up. Now then there was the farcical list of creeper burglaries that was thrown together, and in that list of creeper burglaries we have Clonmellon and Westmeath, Virginia County Cavan, Kells County Meath and Clogherhead. So I think James was only charged with 4 or 5 of these because he was part-time member of this gang allegedly. Because as we have covered before, James Flynn spent most of the year working in construction, paving and groundwork in the United States of America, where he employed a number of people. He had his businesses there, and Eugene Flynn and James Flynn also had businesses here in the Republic of Ireland. That's very, very important. It's noteworthy because James Flynn wasn't running around with guns trying to rob credit unions. That much we know. So this is what has happened with the extradition warrant today. Extradition warrants are sort of sacrosanct insofar as whatever is written on the extradition warrant is what the requested person, and in this case James Flynn, is charged with and brought to trial in the country to which the requested person is extradited. So James Flynn was found not guilty of any of the other creeper burglaries. Absolute, complete and utter rubbish. We seen, I think it was in, the Clonmelon robbery. There's actually CCTV footage of a man who I would suggest is 18 stone weight, at least, minimum, stealing the vehicle. In Kells, where's the Kells one? In Archdeaconry in Kells, County Meath, I do believe that there were sightings of persons whom the witness said were young Polish men. And then, of course, we have the Virginia County Cavan, where Garda Síochána tried to suggest that Brendan Trainor's phone was pinging off a mast near where this vehicle was stolen in Virginia. And that was correct. Brendan Trainor's phone did ping off a mast near where the vehicle was stolen in Virginia County Cavan, but the car was stolen in the middle of the night. Brendan Trainor's phone was in Virginia the following morning when he was driving an articulated lorry carrying 30 tonne of aggregates. So that's just a brief overview of this muddled together farce and a picture and a narrative created to try and weave in this theft of the vehicle at Hillcrest in Clogherhead. So, Judge Tony Hunt, we were told by Judge Tara Burns at James Flynn's previous appeal that Judge Tony Hunt unlawfully amended the extradition warrant. He found the boys not guilty of any of the creeper burglaries, which were total nonsense and completely narrated and curated storyline, but he found them guilty of the robbery, of the burglary in Clogherhead. Now that in itself is totally illegal, and that is why Tara Burns told us when they give James Flynn's decision, when he should have been released 4 weeks ago. And James Flynn has been incarcerated when he has been totally acquitted of everything in this extradition warrant. But today he's been sent back for retrial, and because Judge Tara Burns, McCarthy and Judge Edwards know that they cannot alter the extradition warrant, they've gathered up all the other creeper burglaries again, put them with the Clogherhead burglary and sent it back for retrial, which is double jeopardy. And everyone knows what double jeopardy is. A man, or any man or woman, cannot be tried for the same crime twice. So obviously, I'm sure there's something going on behind the scenes with James's legal team, and that will be brought to the fore. Notwithstanding that, from where I'm looking at it now, James has been fully acquitted of offence 2. He was driving around the square in Crossmaglen when the robbery took place. So they're still dissecting the extradition warrant. So obviously the legals will look at that, and again, we can only hope that there is some justice and there is some fairness, and James Flynn will be released sooner rather than later. And we do hope, again today, a complete and total farce. The prosecution were put on notice at the last hearing 4 weeks ago that James was applying for bail. And the prosecution stood up today, this morning actually, and said they weren't ready. And because of the Easter recess, James Flynn is still incarcerated in an Irish prison tonight. James Flynn is still being kidnapped by the Irish state. And he was not afforded the opportunity to apply for bail. So, as I say, they have bastardised the extradition warrant, and we hope that that will be sufficient to see James's release. Notwithstanding that, the retrial brings other opportunities. And obviously, in our opinion, there was a number of issues probably we just weren't dealt with correctly during the course of James's trial. And on the Wednesday night in particular, for the theft of the mother, we have a list of very important sites of CCTV footage that we have shown. We've shown to you, the Irish public, that were tampered with and curated, and perjury undertaken by members of the Garda Síochána to create a false narrative. We've shown you this before. Very difficult to explain it without the graphics. We have done, and over the coming days, what I will do and what our campaign will do, we will replay the videos we released at the time of James's trial when the boys were acquitted. But this is just one brief example. It is where a vehicle, allegedly James Flynn's BMW, is seen at Blatant Credit Union. And we can see here from Garda James Carlin, this is an unofficial Garda document, and it shows a car moving 4 times past the credit union. So obviously, according to the list here at 2:21 a.m, the first passing, the car travels from right to left. The car then returns 3 minutes later and it goes from left to right. It returns 14 minutes later, left to right again, and then the final passing 10 minutes later, from left to right. Now, the vital piece of information here is that the initial movement at 2:21 was hidden by Garda Síochána. And this list was suppressed and hidden, and only we found it, we would be none the wiser. And the narrative would be that the first passing was at 2:24. Now, this is vitally, vitally important, because at 2:21, those minutes earlier, the prosecution told us that James Flynn's vehicle was up near the Monaster Base Inn, up near the M1. There's a myriad of other interference and tampering with evidence that most certainly will not be missed in James's retrial. So we look forward to that, very much so, unless there is some change, and hopefully so, with James as he moves forward towards the Supreme Court appeal. Other information today, we handed out hard copies of this booklet to Junior Counsel Lorcan Stain. Mr. Graham wasn't there today, unfortunately, so Mr. Stain was left on his own to deal with it today. I did give Mr. Graham's hard copy to Mr. Stain's. I would sincerely hope you will pass that on. And I also passed a copy of this this booklet to the DPP solicitor. And again, like we are going to cover with Termanfeck, Monaster Bise, Clogher Head, Cooley View, Bed and Breakfast, Dromiskin, and how the evidence was tampered with the alleged movement of James Flynn's car. We'll deal with that. We have put forward today, and there is no excuse that Garda Síochána framed Aaron Brady, simply because the extent of time and effort that went into creating this image, and this image here, created by Garda Síochána at the highest level, tells us that the radar was 6 foot, 6'1", and that correlates and fits in perfectly with CCTV footage we have shown you at the end of last year. And indeed, as we have told you from the beginning of Aaron's campaign, there's the images generated. We've gone through these before, but it is important to reiterate. The images of the 4 raiders who attacked the Lordship Credit Union car park, the images of the 4 raiders that murdered Detective Garda Adrian Donoghue, all of those images created by Garda Síochána at the highest level prove that Aaron Brady physically cannot be the man who shot and murdered Detective Garda Adrian Donoghue. We have shown you this here. We have all seen these pictures of Aaron adjacent to Detective Garda Adrian Donoghue. And we stand by what we say, and we have proven that this is a lie and it is physically impossible. This image here of the raider that's 6'1" or 6'3" is the man who shot Detective Garda Adrian Donoghue. Now, the reason why I've just run through this with you on the live, we have been very, very heavily censored since we released this new information on all our platforms. We will tomorrow release this booklet and the letters we passed on to Lorcan Stain today, Brendan Graham and the DPP. Also in court today was intrepid reporters Owen Reynolds and Paul Reynolds. They also received a copy of this with a letter asking them to explain why they will not report that this information exists. Why they will not report that Garda Síochána forensically created this image that proves Aaron Brady is innocent and proves that Aaron Brady was framed. I see the article is up on James Flynn's, excuse me, and it's Ryan Dunn. So I'm assuming there was a third reporter there. I haven't met Ryan before. Ryan also received one of these. So Ryan or anyone in the Sunday World news desk or crime correspondent wants to contact us in relation to this information, please feel free to do so. And if there is any possibility that we have altered anything in this booklet, if there is any possibility that any of this information is incorrect, that would be a serious blight and showing disrespect to Detective Garda Adrian Donoghue. And it would be your duty as journalists to report so. But your silence is deafening. Your silence is complicit in the framing of Aaron Brady. There is no other explanation for your continued denial of the existence of this forensically generated evidence and the CCTV stills that show clearly that Aaron Brady cannot be one of the raiders. So that's what we are. The farce continues, and we will also continue. The Justice for Aaron Brady campaign will continue stronger than ever. And we will bring the real evidence and not the curated and manufactured evidence to the Irish public. Thank you for watching. The lives are very, very important because they tend not to be blocked as much as the pre-prepared videos. When you, the Irish public, see what happened today in the Irish court, I'm not so sure, it's not difficult, I don't believe, to understand it or to get a grasp of it. A man 4 weeks ago was acquitted, 12 months ago, was acquitted of these burglaries. They were wrapped up in a parcel a day and thrown back into the court. It's simply unbelievable that this could be allowed to happen. And obviously, Tara Burns, Judge McCarthy and Judge Edwards had to try and excavate themselves from a situation where they only put the Clogher head burglary back into retrial. Because that would be totally illegal, because as we said, that would have been bastardising the extradition warrant. So everything comes full circle. Everything we have said in the Justice for Aaron Brady campaign is true. Everything we have put forward to the Irish public is 100% correct, proven once again today. But keep continuing to dig the hole, and we have to keep continuing putting the pressure on the Irish judicial system. What happened to James Flynn today is just outrageous. James should be at home this evening with his wife and his 2 children, and yet he remains incarcerated in an Irish prison. It simply isn't good enough. It is not satisfactory, and it shouldn't happen in a democratic state. It simply shouldn't. And I have to say, the silence of the public is also giving fuel to the illegal activities of the Irish state. The DPP, Lorcan Steen, Brendan Graham, Mark Phillips, Pat Marry. Your silence, I'm afraid I have to say, is giving these people oxygen. It gives them breathing space, and when the furore dies down after a day or two, they can move on with their life. James Flynn can't. Aaron can't. And we just keep continuing. And we do sincerely thank all those people who are sharing, liking, commenting, asking questions, and getting Aaron's story out there. We do thank you most sincerely. But I have said this once before, or numerous times before, if you are living in a state where you are afraid, if you are physically afraid to press the like or the share button, that doesn't make sense. Because all you're doing is just sharing a story. We've never asked anyone to jump up and down, carry banners, blow horns, or bang drums. We've just asked the public to raise awareness and let the authorities see that the people of Ireland just want to see is Aaron Brady's story true? It's as simple as that. And we've proven once again today that these people will stop at nothing to protect themselves. And if we look at the aesthetics of what happened today, James has done just over 4 years. He was sentenced to 8 years. He's done just over 4 years. I'm not 100% sure of the maths. I'm sure there's people out there will know James being exemplary prisoner, involved in multiple activities, and I believe he works in the kitchen and different things within the prison system. Absolutely no issue, a model prisoner. So there's no issues with extending or any possibility of revoking the percentage he will get off a sentence. And I believe James Flynn probably will be out this time next year. And if they push it and kick the can down the road, we may find ourselves in a situation where a man has been tried for a crime, he's been retried for a crime he's already served the full sentence for. It is as bizarre and as farcical as that. Because if everything's kicked out the can, there we are now to the end of April. We'll move into the summer recess, into October, into early next year. And in the blink of an eye, as we have seen with Aaron's court cases and trials in Dublin, the months move around very quickly. So that is how farcical this is. Please do not be afraid. Do not be bullied or do not be conditioned. Do not be institutionalized into believing that in some way something bad will happen to you if you like, comment or share. Thank you once again. This is the truth and nobody can contradict it. And for the sake of that man there, Detective Guard Adrian Donoghue, the truth will obviously bring solace and bring justice to our family and to Aaron. But until this happens, this is the greatest injustice in the history of the Irish state. So thank you for watching. I'm going to ask again, please like, comment and share. We will be releasing the letters we sent to DPP, Stain and Graham tomorrow, along with this booklet online. So please like, comment and share. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you all again in the next video. Thank you. Take care, everyone, and enjoy your Easter break. Thank you.